After the divorce, Anna felt like her entire world had fallen apart. The life she had once dreamed of, a happy marriage, a warm home, a shared future, had crumbled into silence and broken promises. Her husband's betrayal still echoed in her mind, but even more painful was the emptiness that followed. She packed her life into 3 suitcases and left the city, not knowing where to go. Days blurred together until one evening, while sorting through old papers, she found a faded envelope addressed in a familiar, gentle handwriting, her late grandmother's. Inside was a letter that simply said, "If one day you lose yourself, return home. The house knows how to heal your heart." Those words touched something deep inside her. Her grandmother's old house had been abandoned for years, standing quietly at the edge of a forgotten village. The next morning, without thinking too much, Anna took the train. When she arrived, the sight broke her heart. The garden was overgrown, the roof sagged, and the front door hung crookedly. Yet, despite the decay, something about the place felt alive. It was as if the air itself remembered laughter, warm bread, and the voice that once called her, "My sunshine." She pushed the creaking door open and stepped inside. Dust covered everything, but under that layer of neglect was a home, her home. "I'm back, Grandma," she whispered softly. Her voice trembled, but for the first time in years, she felt safe. That night she lit a small candle, sat on the wooden floor, and looked around. Every corner whispered stories of her childhood, the smell of jam, the ticking clock, the warmth of hands that once braided her hair. Tears filled her eyes, but they were tears of release. The next morning she started cleaning. The house was silent except for the sound of sweeping and the distant rustle of the wind outside. A few days later, someone knocked on the door. It was an old neighbor, Mikhail, holding a basket of apples. "Didn't think anyone would bring this place back to life," he said with a kind smile. Anna smiled back. "Maybe it's the house that's bringing me back to life," she replied. From that moment, something changed, both inside her and within the house. It was as if her grandmother's spirit was watching, whispering through the wind, "You're home now." Days turned into weeks, and the old house slowly began to change. The dust disappeared, the windows started to shine again, and the garden, once wild and forgotten, began to bloom with color. Anna spent every morning tending the flowers, her hands covered in soil, her heart lighter than it had been in years. She replaced the broken furniture with handmade pieces, painted the walls soft cream, and hung her grandmother's lace curtains once more. Every stroke of paint, every nail hammered into wood felt like she was rebuilding not just a house, but herself. Sometimes, at night, she would sit on the porch with a cup of tea and listen to the crickets. For the first time in a long while, silence no longer frightened her. It comforted her. She began to write again, small notes, thoughts, and poems she had buried inside her heart long ago. Her diary filled with words about healing, forgiveness, and rediscovering the beauty of solitude. One afternoon, as she was painting the fence, Mikhail appeared again, carrying a small basket of vegetables. "You've done wonders here," he said, looking around at the newly reborn garden. Anna laughed softly. "It's amazing what love and a little hard work can do." He nodded, watching her with quiet admiration. Over the next few days, he kept visiting, helping with repairs, sharing stories, and bringing warmth into the once empty space. One evening, as they sat near the fireplace, Mikhail told her about how her grandmother used to host dinners for the whole neighborhood. "This house was the heart of our street," he said. "Your grandmother believed that a home becomes alive only when it's shared." Anna's eyes softened at his words. That night, she decided she would open the doors again, not just to people, but to life. She invited neighbors for tea, children played in the yard again, and laughter began to fill the air. The house that had once stood in silence now echoed with joy. As she watched the sunset from her grandmother's old rocking chair, Anna felt a deep peace. The house had healed her, and in return, she had brought it back to life. It was no longer just her grandmother's home. It was her sanctuary, her second chance, and the beginning of something beautiful. Months had passed, and the once abandoned house was now unrecognizable. The garden bloomed with bright flowers, the scent of freshly baked bread filled the air every morning, and sunlight danced through the curtains like a blessing. Anna often sat on the restored veranda, where dust and decay had once ruled, feeling as though her grandmother's spirit was smiling beside her. She had turned the old home into a cozy family guesthouse for people seeking peace from the chaos of city life. Guests came and went, each leaving behind a little piece of their heart, a note, a sketch, a token of gratitude. Every evening, as Anna watched the sunset over the fields, she remembered the day she stood among the ruins, believing her life was over. Now she knew that endings were just beginnings in disguise. One quiet night, she stepped outside and saw a shooting star streak across the sky. Her heart swelled with warmth as she whispered, "Thank you, Grandma, for this home and the second life you gave me." The soft wind brushed her face, carrying with it the faint smell of jasmine and a feeling of peace. For the first time in years, Anna felt truly at home, not just in a house but within herself. One morning, there was a knock at the door. A man stood there, introducing himself as an architect who had heard about the miraculous transformation of an old countryside house. Curious and inspired, he asked if he could see it. Anna welcomed him inside, and together they walked through every room, talking as if they'd known each other forever. He admired every detail, the antique chest, the restored shutters, the delicate scent of roses by the window. "You didn't just rebuild this place," he said softly, "you brought it back to life." His words struck Anna deeply, and for the first time, she realized how far she had come. The architect began visiting often, helping her expand the garden and build a wooden gazebo beneath the cherry trees. Their friendship grew naturally, wrapped in laughter, kindness, and quiet understanding. When spring finally arrived, the garden burst into full bloom. Standing beneath the blossoms, Anna realized her journey had come full circle. She hadn't just rebuilt her grandmother's house, she had rebuilt herself. Every corner of the home now pulsed with warmth, love, and hope. As evening fell, she lit the old lamp by the window and whispered, "Grandma, I'm home, and I'm no longer alone."